Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brenna Goggin. I'm the Mid-Atlantic Leadership Director or Manager at River Network, and welcome to today's session about celebrating our personal resilience. This session, a few housekeeping items before we get started. Portions of this session will be recorded. You are muted, but you are more than welcome to say hello in the chat box, and I will be compiling questions as we go through this presentation as you put them into the chat box. And they will pause, our presenters will pause halfway through portions of the presentation to allow for those questions to be asked. We do ask that you update your information if you haven't already by hovering over the three little bars above your name and updating it with your pronoun and your organization. If you are having any technical difficulties during this, please feel free to message myself or Kate, and we'll be happy to assist you. This session will be posted on Sched as we finish, and you can find that link in the chat box. Otherwise, I will turn it back over to our presenters.
Great, thanks, Brenna. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lauren, and I'm the president and founder of HerChesapeake, and I'm joined by board members Carmera and Jackie. And just so everyone can hear your voices, Carmera, can you say hi?
Hi, everyone.
And Jackie?
Hey, everyone, welcome.
Jackie kicked us off with our favorite smells, so that's great. We are so excited to be here with you today for HerChesapeake's very first Watershed Forum session. So real quick, a little bit about us. HerChesapeake works at the intersection of feminism and environmentalism to create a network of women who empower each other to reach their personal success, however you define that for yourself, and to reach a healthier Chesapeake Bay. And we do that by creating safe, supportive, and collaborative spaces where we can share experiences and connect with each other and build skills together. And HerChesapeake is focused on the experience of people who identify as women, but we welcome all people of all genders who are interested in supporting our mission. So next slide. So for today, we have designed a very interactive and personalized workshop for you all. We are going to guide you through writing your own story of personal resilience. So by the end of the session, you will have in your hand your own resilience story, and you can use it to remind yourself of your unique value and your strengths as you continue on doing this really tough and complex work to address climate resilience for the Bay. So I'm going to kick it over to Carmera. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. So to make sure you get as much out of this session as possible, we have some suggested shared agreements. Once I read through these, I'd like to get a thumbs up so that we're all in agreement to these. Share openly, honestly, and authentically. Embrace vulnerability. Extend understanding and compassion to yourself and to others. Be curious and listen before speaking. Step up, step back. Really make space for others to participate, especially if you're a talker like me. This is a safe space, judge-free zone. So I just want you to get the best out of this session, and it's okay because we all have the best interests at heart. Can I get a thumbs up either in your reactions that we're all in agreement or in the chat? Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. Next slide. So what is personal resilience? We have some definitions here that I'm going to read through, but also want to make the connection between climate resilience as well. So building personal resilience, which involves building on strengths, can minimize the problems, greatly increase individual and collective well-being, and motivate people to engage in climate solutions. People also develop resilience by learning skills and strategies for managing stress and better ways of thinking about life's challenges. And to be resilient, one must tap into personal strengths and the support of their communities. We really need to focus on community-based solutions for climate resilience, and we need to tap into our own communities and connections to build personal resilience. When we have the reserve of that mental, emotional, and community strength, we are better equipped to do the hard work of addressing climate change, environmental, and social justice issues.
All right, thanks, Carmera. So now we've learned what personal resilience is and why it would be useful to our work. So how do we get some? Each of these items that you see here is a technique that can be used to build personal resilience. They're basically ways to cope through tough situations and remind ourselves of our strengths and our support system. And so Jackie and I are gonna break these down one by one. And then after that, we're going to practice using them together. So the first one is revisit your sensory origins. What does that mean? So this is about remembering where you come from and reconnecting to it with sensory experiences. So, back to the first one. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Kate. And so by where you come from, we mean like your foundation, your personal origins, like things like formative experiences that have molded you into the person that you are now. So your origins might be something that you find comfort in, or it might be more like a benchmark to show you how far you've come. But either way, it can be a source of strength. And recalling our foundations with the 5 senses has this power to transport us to a different time and place. And immersing ourselves in those memories can be part of what helps us feel more in touch with ourselves and in touch with what's important to us. So Jackie.
So 2 is realizing your unique value and skills. So building off what Lauren was just talking about, our foundation has sent each of us on a trajectory that led to this current moment and the unique skills and strengths that we have and can offer to those around us. Realizing this unique value is about making a statement to ourselves on what we're really good at. So I think especially as women, it's ingrained in a lot of us to downplay our expertise. Our value is downgraded all around us, from politics to media, and to some cases, the places of work where we are. So this is really about letting go of self-doubt and squashing that imposter syndrome and doing a little bit of self-talk to say, I have so much to offer. I am my own person with unique strengths and a value that's all my own.
So the next one is drawing strength from difficult experiences. So this is where we recall the hardest thing that we've had to go through. So no matter your foundation, no matter your unique strengths and talents, a skill that we all have in common is that we've had to learn how to navigate through life's challenges. And that's relative for everybody, but it's no less true for each of us. So recalling the hardest thing that you've had to get yourself through is about realizing the resilience that you've already built within yourself. And knowing that because you had to go through hard things in the past, you already have this power within yourself to get through really challenging moments again in the future.
Number 4 is practicing gratitude. So we're going to leave the thoughts about those tough times behind and focus on the present moment by practicing gratitude. A gratitude practice brings our focus into the here and now, and it's often used in meditation to feel grounded and connected to the present moment. It's a way to cultivate a sense of joy for even the smallest things. So even when you're in those tough times, if you can bring your attention to the present by doing something simple like bringing your awareness to the sensations in your body, that is still something to feel grateful for. And then number 5, our last one, is connect with your community. And I think for me, this is the most valuable. It's how we celebrate, it's how we get work done, it's how we play sports, it's how we share experiences and create memories. And I think our current circumstances of having to do this all virtually makes it really difficult to forge those real connections with other people and feel that sense of community that I think we're all really desperate for right now. But that doesn't mean that it's not still there, and that's part of what we're hoping to show through this workshop. We know that personal well-being is collective well-being, and even virtually we can connect with each other to feel that sense of support, common experience, understanding, and motivation to keep after our goals and make it through these really tough times.
So building personal resilience involves using a suite of techniques and practices. And we can practice all these techniques together by creating a personalized resilience story. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to walk you through a series of prompts that align with, that turned on my Siri on another device. That was weird, sorry. We're going to walk you through a series of prompts that you can see here that aligns with those 5 techniques. And we're all going to put together our resilience stories step by step. So we created this template for you to use, kind of fill in the blank style, and we're all going to create our own individual stories by working off of this template and filling in the blanks with our own answers as we go through each section together. And you will have dedicated time to focus and fill in each piece. So stick with us as we go through and use the time that's provided to you to make this something that feels really empowering and useful to you. And so in the chat, Brenna just shared this same template as a Google Doc. So click into that and you can download that. You won't be able to edit it on the link that you click into, but you can download that file or make a copy and save it into your own Google Drive and use this ready-made template to be able to fill in the blanks with your own answers in your own private file. So before we get started on filling in our stories, I want to give you an idea of what a completed story might look like by sharing my own answers. So I'm just gonna read through these right now. My name is Lauren, and I am strong and resilient. I come from plaid Catholic school uniforms, chicken necker crabbing, and drove down the ocean from Baltimore, hun. My life's journey is unique. I am an original, inimitable individual. I couldn't resist that tongue twister. I am really good at coming up with creative ideas and visions and diving deep into the details of whatever I set my mind to, or sometimes by what I get distracted by. The hardest thing I've ever had to do was slowly maneuver my way out of an abusive relationship and put my life back together completely alone. If I really had to, I could get through something as hard as that again, maybe even something a little bit harder. I am grateful for the kindness, compassion, and generosity of heart that defenders of social justice offer to total strangers. And my dog, Dax. In community with Jackie and Carmera, I commit to a season of putting less pressure on myself as a way of continually evolving and strengthening my personal resilience. So real quick, I want to point out that the last piece about community, after we go through the first 4 pieces, we're going to break out into small groups so that we can complete the last piece together. So don't skip ahead and fill it out on your own yet. We're going to give more direction when we get to that part. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, so some of my answers you can see and maybe hear that they're on the more vulnerable side. They're the kinds of things that we don't typically get to share in work settings or feel like we can share in a work setting. And so that's why we want to encourage you as you fill in your story to think back to our shared agreement from a few minutes ago and move through this exercise by practicing vulnerability and authenticity and being really true to yourself. So use this time to own your experiences, particularly the hard situations that you've had to go through, and maybe you're going through it right now, and find a sense of release in writing it into your story. So once you have your full story filled out, it can be kind of like a mantra. It can be something that you keep with you and use it to remind yourself of your grit and your ability to keep pushing through and reaching your goals. Jackie?
Okay, now we're going to each fill out our own personal resilience story. So again, Brenna put a link to a blank document in the chat, so you can click on that, download it, copy and paste it into a new document, or if you prefer, grab a piece of paper and write your story down that way. We're going to be walking through the prompts together, and we're going to have about 4 minutes to work on each prompt. And as we move through the prompts, we're also asking that everyone anonymously share your answers in a Google Jamboard. So on this slide here, you can see an example of how you might set up your screen so that you can fill in your personal resilience story, make it kind of as long as you want to make it, and then copy your answer into the Jamboard. And we're only looking for that Mad Lib blank on the Jamboard, so you can condense that piece of your story a little bit. The purpose of sharing anonymously through the Jamboard is to help us relate to each other as a community and realize that we have some experiences that are similar to others and some that are unique and all our own. So it's just another way of creating that connection amongst us as a group here today. And for a little reassurance, as Lauren demonstrated, these topics might get personal. We will not be saving any of the Jamboards or the responses that are put on them. So after we've had a chance to kind of look at them as a group, we'll be deleting them. This part of the workshop is also not going to be recorded. So quick reminder to Brenna and Kate that we want to stop the recording at this point here.
And story. So you might still be in that Jamboard, finishing up your group theme. Make sure you add it into your personal story copy. And take a look at it and take some pride in it. When you leave this session, it's going to be up to you to carry your story forward and carry your shared group theme with you too as you go, and use them as reminders of your resilience. And be sure to call in your community and call in HerChesapeake for support as you go. We also wanted to take a quick moment here to ask if you're able to consider donating to Black Lives Matter as a way of supporting the resilience of Black women and all Black communities. So if you scan the QR code with a code reader or your camera on your phone, it'll take you right to the BLM website, and you can make a donation to this really important movement. We just felt like this was really important to include. It's something that HerChesapeake feels very strongly about, and especially as an organization that focuses a lot on the social side of our work. So now we have a couple of housekeeping items from our facilitators, but don't leave yet. We are going to close out our session in style. So stick around for a few more minutes until the end.
Thanks, Lauren. For those that are able, let's please give a virtual hand to our lovely presenters and speakers today for a fantastic session, or you can do the hand clap and the reactions if you prefer. Please feel free to give feedback on this session. You can do that in SCAD, which I've put the link for. If you are joining the session and are taking pictures or whatever, like of this type of screen, please, and you're using social media, please use our hashtags of hashtag Ches Forum or hashtag Ches Collective. And our next session will be 2 sessions optional for NIFWIF funding, or if you would like, I will actually be hosting a coaching session for about an hour following this, starting at 2:30. And that is my...
All right, thanks, Brenna. So Kate, you can start some music. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. We had a blast running this session with all of you. You can keep tabs on the HerChesapeake movement at herchesapeake.com and follow us on social media. We are mostly on Instagram these days. And please let us know what you thought of our session with an evaluation. This is our first Watershed Forum session, so we'd really appreciate your feedback. And we have a few minutes left, so we are going to roll out of our session with a celebration of the strength and resilience of women in our field with a little music and a little movement. So, so we'll get that going. So movement option 1 will be to use this time to stretch, stand up, take some nice deep breaths. And then movement option 2, and what I will be doing is to dance it out. So whether you want to give us the little chair bop when the music gets going, or if you want to use this time to go full out and relieve some stress, we fully encourage you to do that. You will see us on camera giving you all we got. Yeah, join in if you can. We have until 2:15. We might be able to close out a little bit earlier than that, but yeah, we're gonna get some tunes going, and thank you so much. We are HerChesapeake, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.